All right, and we are live. Welcome, DoorGrow hackers, to the DoorGrow Show. If you are a property management entrepreneur that wants to add doors, make a difference, increase revenue, help others, impact lives, and you are interested in growing your business and life, and you are open to doing things a bit differently, then you are a DoorGrow hacker. DoorGrow hackers love the opportunities, daily variety, unique challenges, and freedom that property management brings. Many in real estate think you're crazy for doing it. You think they're crazy for not, because you realize that property management is the ultimate high trust gateway to real estate deals, relationships, and residual income. At DoorGrow, we are on a mission to transform property management businesses and their owners. We want to transform the industry, eliminate the BS, build awareness, change perception, expand the market, and help the best property management entrepreneurs win. I'm your host, property management growth expert, Jason Hall, the founder of Open Potion, Gather Kudos, Thunder Local, and of course, DoorGrow. Now, let's get into the show. Awesome. And today I am hanging out with Sam Kwak. Sam, welcome to the DoorGrow Show.
I am honored, Jason. Thank you for having me in the show.
Glad to have you. So, Sam, we are going to talk about real estate investing as a property manager. Usually, property managers are helping other real estate investors, and
that's right,
not eating their own dog food.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. And why don't, before we get into that, tell everybody a little bit about who Sam is and your background. Give us a little backstory.
Sure. Absolutely. So I guess I can kind of go back to my original humble beginnings. I came to the United States in 1999 as an immigrant. Back then I was 7 years old. So surprisingly, I still remember a lot of what have happened back then. But I can remember coming to this country without much friends, culture awareness, language, certainly, right? I spoke 2 words, thank you and no, because if yes has more risk, no, certainly didn't. So that's all I knew how to say things in English, basically. So over time, I've learned the language, I learned the culture, definitely, got used to that. Went through the whole high school, middle school, elementary school experience here in the United States. Hence, I'm able to talk to you guys. And along the way, I didn't know I wanted to be an entrepreneur, let alone be a real estate investor in the first place. I joined the military right off the high school because I really didn't know what I wanted to do. All I knew was, well, the military could help me pay for my college. That's all I knew. And I went in the military and I ended up joining the Reserve National Guard. And I was able to do my school while that was going on. And I think 3 months into school, I knew I wanted to become an entrepreneur. I said, this is not for me, this school thing. I felt like I was being trapped, right? I felt like my freedom and independence was being robbed, knowing that I may have to work for a boss or a company from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., do that for 40 years. I just couldn't imagine myself doing that. So I was in a different industry. I was actually in the nightclub industry. I was a professional DJ. And yeah, my skill set extended to pressing play, pause, and taking the CD out and putting a new one in, right? That was the extent of my skill set. And I think almost every real estate investor have probably read this book, at least the ones that I talked to, the contemporary ones, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, right, by Robert Kiyosaki. And that book literally opened up new possibilities where I'm like, whoa, this is so cool. And this concept of being a landlord didn't even dawn on me, right? Because my family was paying rent. My family had a landlord, and we just thought that, this landlord was probably born into wealth and have all these properties and so on. And I never quite understood that average people who necessarily don't have everything and anything in terms of wealth could actually become a real estate investor, buy properties and rent it out to create income. So that was a new concept for me 5 years ago. And 4 years ago is when I decided to start my journey as a full-time real estate investor. Definitely sold my DJ business, and that's what I've been doing. So fast forward 4 years later, after I started this business in real estate, my brother and I currently have 75 rental units, which we have a property manager who's a partner. So that's why I'm involved in this business of property management. I know what goes in it, what goes out. I've actually gotten some training in property management, and we're continuously growing, buying more properties. And my philosophy is I don't manage anything that I don't own. So that's my philosophy. Is I prefer to buy properties, whether I manage it or if it's distant away. If I have a property manager, I still need to understand how the business works so that I know how to properly manage my manager's expectation and the responsibility of me as the owner and the property manager that I'm working with.
So currently you're an owner operator, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So the 75 doors that you guys manage, they're all yours?
Yes. And we have a partner who has an equity in the properties that we own. And that partner is the licensed property manager in that case. Okay, cool. Of course, being a partner, I see the everyday operation of property management. I'm in the office. I see what's going on, and I do a lot of consulting and advising as far as how the actual operation is run. That's how I came to know Jason, because I wanted to learn more about what the business entails.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of your sort of secret superpowers is the dirty tech side of automating, some of the business for your property management side. So, Sam, let's get into this topic then of real estate investing as a property manager. And so, where are most property managers at maybe in terms of their thinking, and how can they get where you are in having their 75 of their own doors?
Sure. Yeah, the real estate investing business as itself is definitely a separate business. It has to be treated. While the management side, most of you guys, I would say that you guys are really great. As far as buying, it is definitely a separate business of its own. Understanding the numbers, the cash flow aspects of it, the expenses. There's also an understanding of macroeconomics as well as microeconomics. You're understanding your market. And I think one advantage that a property manager does have over an average investor that may not have the operational knowledge of being a property manager is certainly understanding where the areas to invest and not invest. If you are already investing, or if you are already managing in your area, let's say, what the rents are going to be, what the tenant base looks like, what type of maintenance you have to be doing to attract the right tenants, to have the right amount of rent being collected. Now, what's really important with that is if you understand your market, you can pretty much reverse engineer as to what you will need to buy to have a healthy cash flowing asset. So that's definitely an advantage, and it's almost no brainer. If you're a property manager, I would encourage people to at least look at the possibility of buying your own properties for your own sake, right? For you to build your own wealth and for your own cash flow. So I do believe that property managers have an advantage. It is definitely a different business, and it's a different set of skills to be learned. But I think property managers, brokers definitely have an advantage, an upper hand over the average person just getting into this business.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, nobody knows the rental market better than a property manager. And a property manager that does real estate, nobody knows better how to help real estate investors.
Right.
But taking that leap to that next step of knowing now, how do I help myself be the investor? That's kind of a leap. So if they're not doing that currently, where do they start?
Yeah. So a lot of times, education is very important. I had several individuals, obviously, who were trying to get into the industry. And one of the things that I do is I help facilitate new or a beginner investor come in and start learning. So one of the biggest thing, and I think a lot of the property managers, going back to the advantages, you understand the market. Now, also understanding the market, there's also skill sets to be learned as far as acquisition, negotiation, understanding the business of expenses. And what's cool is that property managers understand the expenses already. That's the cool part. But as far as investing, raising capital, a lot of people who might be listening to this podcast may feel like, well, I want to be buying properties, but I don't have the capital. Or you might be saying, well, I've been self-employed all my life. No lenders are ever going to lend money to me because of what says my taxes. Right. So the two things that I've figured out over time, over the last 4 years, is understanding how to acquire properties without using my own capital and without using my own credit. And just for the record, for those who are listening, if I seem young, that is because I am. I'm 26 years old. And of course, I don't have the best credit history to go out there to a bank and say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Banker, I would like to have $1 million loan. Very much of a challenge. So what I've learned to do, and this is something that you guys can certainly learn and adapt into your business, is learning how to acquire properties using a concept known as owner financing and raising capital for those owner financing. So give you an example. We were able to purchase, I'll give you a smaller example than that. We bought a 4-unit apartment building. It's owner financing. And the concept of owner financing is basically having the seller or owner financing our purchase. So instead of making a periodic payment to the bank, we're going to be making periodic payments to the seller in exchange for equity. So it's known as installment payment. Certain states call it land contract. Various different states have different names for it. But essentially, that's the concept. Now, what's really cool about owner financing is that we can a lot of times negotiate the terms, the interest rate, the amortization period, all of that from scratch. So in this particular 4-unit deal, we bought it using 15-year amortization at 5% interest. We keep it within the shorter amortization period to build equity. That's one of our goals. And of course, cash flow. And we did 10% down on this property. The purchase price was $275,000. So we raised $28,000 roughly, including legal costs and so on. So I was able to bring in a partner who footed the $28,000, and that went to the down payment. Gave that partner 50% equity, and that's essentially how we bought the 4-unit. The closing was quick. We were able to close in 2 weeks. It wasn't like having to go through a bank where we're waiting on the loan docs or there's an escrow period, underwriting. All that could be a headache. So just doing that model of buying properties using owner financing, raising capital, allowed us to get to 75 rental units. So you can imagine that in itself is a whole different skill set. And property management is very important. I'll tell you that. But acquisition and disposition of a property is in itself a different skill set to be learned.
So it sounds like one of the initial things that they'll need to figure out is how to structure this legally, like how to get the right contract in place, how to set the terms. How do they get started with that? Is there a certain type of lawyer that they're looking for? Is this something that they should just try and figure out on their own? That sounds like a dangerous place that they need to figure out.
I certainly would not encourage anybody to go attend the Google University, where the endless possibilities of information come about. But you really have to test the accuracy. And the reason why I discourage people from Googling things is different states, different local municipalities have different rules. For example, Texas, many years ago, changed the laws into lease option, or I should say lease with an option. They changed the rules on that. Illinois, which is the state that I live, just this year, the state attorney general is now requiring people to give disclosures when selling things on owner financing or buying things on owner financing. So it's really important that you don't necessarily just go to Google University and read what it says and take it as a fact. Very important that you don't do that. So as far as the legal side goes, there are attorneys that understand this, and there are attorneys that don't understand this. So the trick is you got to go find an attorney, that understands the creative side of real estate investing, someone that understands how to work with an installment contract, officially known here in my state. It's officially known as articles for the agreement for deed. I know it sounds like a bunch of acronyms and lingos, but it's really important. What I do suggest is work with someone that has an experience in this already in your local market. I'm not opposed to buying into mentorships or coaching program. I know Jason has a phenomenal program. I highly encourage people to take that offer seriously. But as far as real estate investing goes, it's not a bad idea to work with a coach or a mentoring program if you don't have that available in your relationship or your network.
Absolutely. That could significantly collapse time on trying to go through this learning curve. You've been through some of these hurdles. and or they can find somebody else that's been through some of these hurdles locally,
Mhm.
probably a lawyer that knows how to manage these sort of things. So the other thing
Right.
is partners. So
Mhm.
identifying, how do you identify a really good partner? I would imagine if anybody has access to partners, it's property managers.
Yes. No, and I absolutely agree. So that's initially why I partnered with my property manager for pretty much all of my properties that I own. They are fantastic because not only do they bring in the operational side, but they may have capital. But if capital is an issue, I've come to a conclusion many months ago that capital is never really an issue if you have the right deals. If you understand how to put together opportunities, deals legally, ethically, and morally, it almost seems like capital finds its way to the best type of opportunities. For example, we just put together a 5-unit deal. In fact, it was more my brother's project, but we put together a 5-unit apartment acquisition. What's really cool is it's an owner financing deal, no interest on the amortization, so it's every monthly payment that we give to the seller straight into the equity. And we usually put together a project executive summary. And then I remember handing that to one of our investor partners, and he's 5 minutes later he calls me like, "Yeah, I'm already in. We'll put in the money for you, and we'll get this project going." So when I look for a partner, a lot of times I look for it's more so characteristics. My rule is not all partners are made equally. Different partners have different lifestyle, desires. They want to have different financial goals. To give you an example, we may have partner A that wants cash flow. They want cash now. They want income coming in. Partner B may not have any problems with having cash flow. They just want to build equity and wealth, build up their nest egg. So you really have to work with different types of partners and their needs. What is foundational, however, is you want to work with a partner who's sound mind. They're not going to go crazy on you, right? They're very they have the character to back it up, right? Integrity, honesty, and all that. So we look at that, and we understand that not all dollar amount from various partners and investors are not equal. So you have to kind of weigh that, and you want to work with individuals that have a similar goal as you do. So my goal obviously is cash flow and equity buildup. So I typically want to work with a partner that values pretty much what I value.
Right. So you're looking for a values alignment with a partner.
Correct.
And yeah, so in doing business with anybody, whether it's clients, partnership, I mean, really, there's a relationship there in a partnership. And if it's not good, it can be really not good, right? And if it is good, it can be really great. And so getting that right relationship sounds critical. And so and I found the only way to really find people that connect and share your values is to be really open and transparent about your values.
Absolutely.
And who you are. And when you put who you are out into the marketplace and out into the world, and you feel safe doing that, you attract people that are naturally attracted to you. And you also scare off the people that are not attracted to you.
Yes.
The funny thing is, a lot of times as business owners, and I think I used to do this, is we think we have to look a certain way or be a certain thing or be something cool or special. And so we put out this image that trying to create the perception of what we wish we were or something different than we really are because we're disconnected maybe, or we don't like something about ourselves. And when we do that, we end up attracting people, but we end up attracting people that are attracted to that false image of ourselves instead of who we really are. And then we wonder why we don't like them or why we're frustrated with this client or with this partner, because they were trying to connect with that, and that's not you. And so I love what you're saying about, like, make sure you find somebody that shares your values. You weren't saying find somebody that has the money.
No, definitely not. Yeah, well, it's because we come to a realization that money will come. Money will come regardless, as long as you're providing value. You're wanting to help people. You have that the genuine yearning to provide as much value as possible into the economy. I think money will show up no matter what. It's just a matter of, does that money bring me sleep every night, right? Because I don't want to have to deal with a partner giving me headaches, right? It's stressing me out. I've come to a point where honestly, I would turn down a $500,000 fund if that means I'm going to have a better night's sleep.
Sure. You don't want Bruno
Yeah.
standing at the end of your bed, with a gun to your head saying, "Where's
No,
the money?" or "What's going on with this deal?"
definitely not.
And so there's definitely relationships that are better than others. And
Correct.
so, yeah, those partnerships are critical. So thanks for sharing
Hmm.
your ideas on how to find partners. So what else does
Hmm.
would a property manager need to know to kind of get into this? So we talked about maybe finding somebody that understands things
Hmm.
legally, maybe getting a mentor that can help them kind of collapse time and structure a deal,
Yeah.
maybe finding the right partner. What other puzzle pieces might be missing in this
Hmm.
situation?
Yeah, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to start from positives, and I think a lot of property managers, you guys listening to the podcast, you guys are bright. I mean, the fact that you guys chose to be an entrepreneur, to kind of create your own path, in itself is something that to be noted. I think you guys should give yourself a pat on the back. So with that mindset, with the achievement, it's very easy for you to be blinded by that confidence. That, oh, I'm a successful property manager. We're doing really well. We're creating massive amount of income because we worked with Jason. It's really easy to be blinded by that confidence and walk into a new business situation thinking that, oh, I got this. So I think the big piece to having success, I think, and not just property management, but also looking into buying your own properties for the sake of investment, you really have to adopt that coachability mindset. The more success you gain as a property manager or in any business, it's very easy to say, well, I'm successful at property management, therefore I'm going to be successful at investing in properties. There's definitely a fallacy in that. So become a student again, and I'm glad Jason is putting out a lot of the content, and I give props to people, even with the success that they have, they still listen to different mentors or different influence in the network. So what I have to say is I think property managers already have the motive, the discipline, possibly the skill set to become successful as a real estate investor. It's just you got to be coachable to be open to the idea that you may have a blind spot in this new world of being an investor.
Yeah, I think that's sound advice. I think it's true. Like I had Mike McAllowitz on my show previously, and he shared this great story about how he had all this success and it almost came somewhat easily. And he was on living high, and he thought any business he could touch as a venture capitalist would turn to gold. And
Yeah.
then suddenly he lost everything. And his daughter like brought out the piggy bank to him, saying, "Hey, take this
Yikes.
help, Dad." And he was like, and he was upside down. And so
Wow.
that's how he started to realize, hey, I don't know everything. And he
Mhm.
came up with the profit first method. And so I think it's important to recognize that we need to keep some humility when we're having growth and we're having success. And remember, it came to us because of maybe a good idea from somebody else, or it came to us because of a mentor, because of a coach. And the best leaders, they're always the best followers. Right. They have the ability to follow others, which is why they can be a good leader. They understand that side of things. And the best teachers, they're the best students because they're always in this space of being willing to learn, being willing to absorb. And so they have real value to continually give to others. And
Absolutely.
I feel like that's the only reason I know how to help anybody do anything is because I'm naturally curious and I love to learn. And I get excited about sharing the things that I realize or find that work.
Yeah, and I would definitely second that. I mean, I think no one is immune to this, being successful and all of a sudden thinking that you're invincible. I mean, you look at the Bible, King Solomon, perhaps the wisest king in the history, still malleable to this idea that he was invincible. He felt like he was invincible, and he started doing things that were totally, what we deem as
by today's standards. He was filthy rich. Like
he was filthy rich,
rolling in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he swayed away from his values, his character. But again, even the wisest king of our history is malleable to this fallacy that they're invincible because of one area in success. So I think it's really important that have that coachability mindset. Even if you have to invest in some money to work with a mentor or a program, I would do so. I mean, I treat money as a currency. I treat time as a currency. If you want to have more time, then you're going to have to be willing to kind of give up some of that money to curve time, because time is something that we can never get back.
Yeah, absolutely. So All right. So if people are looking to get into
Mhm.
this or do this, any missing pieces here that we've talked about?
Yeah.
So real estate investing as a property manager.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's an easy transition for you guys out there already managing properties. You guys, first of all, understand the operation, and for me, 80% of growth in real estate investing, or I should say, sustainability in a good, healthy investment, is property management. And you ask that in any industry, asset management is very, very important. And I think if you figured out property management, it is a great transition. If you're looking to expand your business horizontally, I think real estate investing should be the way to go. Whether you're flipping properties, flipping apartment buildings, or you're buying properties to hold for the cash flow aspects of it, I think it's a smart transition where you can go from being a property manager to start owning properties.
Yeah, property managers have a high level of trust for the clients that they serve. Like their
Right.
clients trust in them. They're handing over their biggest investment ever, perhaps.
Yeah.
And there's this huge amount of safety in working with a property manager that can help manage this investment properly, is an invested partner in this relationship. So you know that they care about making sure that this is taken care of. And
Absolutely.
there's nobody that knows better how to do that than a property manager. And
Mhm.
there's lots of people out there in hustling and grinding in the real estate space. Some of them
Right.
not so ethical, and they're trying to like get everybody involved in real estate investing and say it's quick, easy, turnkey
Yeah.
money, and that like having rental properties is the easiest thing ever. It's like passive in a passive investment. And property managers know how passive rental properties really are, right?
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, it's so that pipe dream is so oversold, and it's so fortunate. I'm in the education field, and it's unfortunate that a lot of the other education programs that they overpromise this idea. It's exploiting the whole dream of wanting to be free from their jobs or their misery or whatever it may be. It's unfortunate that that's what has turned into. But another advantage I'll tell you, from being a property manager, you guys, first of all, have the advantage if one of your owners want to sell the property, you guys get the first tip. You guys can interject and say, hey,
Yeah.
if your owner says, well, I'm thinking about selling this property, right? Well, be like, hey, listen, would you like to sell it to me? And I mean, first of all, that makes sense. And it's very profitable because you know that you've been managing it. You know that, that is the product of your care and your effort. So when you buy
You
a
know how well
property,
it's been maintained.
absolutely.
You have all the
Right.
records. You know, you're the one
Mhm.
inspecting this property on a regular basis. You
Right.
know that this property can cash flow, and you know that this property can make
Correct.
money too. So you see
Absolutely.
that you get dibs on those opportunities. I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah. That first of all, that's the big selling point, I think, if you want to get into the investing world.
So the mistake that some property managers are making is they see this opportunity, they see this person selling this property, and they go,
Mhm.
"Oh well, I'm losing a door," and they think, "Well,
Right.
maybe I can help them sell it," but they're not thinking maybe I can get some funding
Hmm.
and put together a deal and encapsulate this beautiful package that I can
Right.
present to somebody, find the right investor, and
Yeah.
it could be another potential client, another real estate investor that they are already
Hmm.
working with, and say, "Hey, I've got an opportunity. Here's this
Right.
great opportunity, great property. The client wants to sell it.
Hmm.
They can, work that deal."
Absolutely. And maybe you have another owner that wants to keep buying more properties. So, with that being said, you can have that person turn into your partner. So I mean, it's almost, I mean, I got to say it again, it's no brainer for a property manager to insert that business in there for your own wealth, right? Building your own wealth in buying a property and also building cash flow. So I think for me, it's a transition worth considering.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty easy hack to go to your existing real estate investor base and those that you're connected with and say, "Hey, I'm looking at putting together some potential deals that would be really profitable in the real estate, as a real estate investment. We're the
Yeah.
best at handling these things. We'll manage it for you. This probably is the actual reality of something being somewhat turnkey for you in real estate
Absolutely.
investing. If you are interested, subscribe and get on our list. And when a deal comes up, we'll be looking for, the best person to work with."
Absolutely. You nailed it.
Love it. All right.
Yeah.
Sam, this is super helpful. I think everybody listening is hopefully getting a little bit excited
Mhm.
about putting these deals and these ideas together. How, if they're curious about getting more information from
Mhm.
you and they want to work with a savvy, sharp millennial like yourself who's crushing it in real estate, how do they
Thank
get
you.
connected to you?
Yeah, so they can find us on our website, thekwakbrothers.com, TheKwakBrothers.com. There's a plethora of information. We do also have a podcast, which Jason was one of our guests, an amazing guest, I might add. So you can come find us, the Kwak Brothers, on YouTube and reach us out. I'm also on Facebook. You guys can find me. Don't hesitate to message me. I won't bite, I promise. So feel free to reach out, and I'd be more than happy to chat.
Awesome. And you are in our DoorGrow Club Facebook group,
I am.
correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a
So he's
phenomenal,
in there.
phenomenal Facebook group.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
Sam, appreciate you coming on the show. Thanks for hanging out
Mhm.
and sharing your insights with us.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, cool. So you guys heard it from Sam. Really, really great idea getting into real estate investing. I'm sure all of you have thought about it. You've seen these deals float by. Hopefully, this inspires you to take a little bit of action and capture a little bit more of the rain that's coming down and find those really good partners. And if you are not yet a member of our free Facebook group, the DoorGrow Club, get inside this group. We're really careful. We probably turn away 2/3 of the people that come in. So we make people apply to get in it. Even though it's free, we make people apply to get in it. You can apply by going to doorgrowclub.com and request joining the group and answer all the questions, and my team will screen it. We only let in the business owners. So if you do not own a property management business, if you're not the principal, a broker, an owner, somebody at the top of the company, then we generally will not let you in. We don't let anybody else in. We want the entrepreneurs. This is a group for entrepreneurs. So get inside that group. Also, make sure you have your tickets to DoorGrow Live. DoorGrow Live is coming up fast. We have already sold a good portion of our tickets. Most of the room nights for our group rate are already booked out. I think we have a handful left. So get your rooms. And we are super excited. This is going to be the event of the year every year for property management. We want this to be the event for entrepreneurs. It's the only property management conference that is focused on entrepreneurism. We're bringing in some of the best entrepreneurs, entrepreneur grow and scale experts that we know from any industry. And so we're bringing in Mike Michalowicz, who not only created the Profit First system and who's been on our show, but also it has his own company of growing and scaling other people's businesses. And we have Alex Sharfin coming in, who is badass, who I've seen frontline grow and scale companies dramatically. He's tripled our revenue and had a significant impact on my life, on my marriage, on my relationships, my family, like in my business especially. And so I'm super excited to share from the stage some ideas with him, with all of you, and how we run our companies. And we also have John Paramore, who is a badass in the contractor and roofing industry at growing and scaling businesses and building sales teams, coming to share. And I've worked closely with him. We're really good buddies and we collaborate on things. So I'm super excited to share have John with you and his ideas. And we've got 3 experts coming from Australia where the property management industry is really seasoned. And my challenge to them was to share something new and something innovative. And so we've got some really cool speakers, Darren Hunter, Dennis Youssef, um, and we've got some other people coming to speak. I can't remember everybody off the top of my head, but check out, go to doorgrowlive.com/speakers and you can see who's going to be speaking. We're keeping the speaker list small and tight and focused. And so make sure you get your tickets to DoorGrow Live. It will be a game changer for your business. You will walk away with real tactical strategy. We're not overwhelming you with a ton of speakers and a ton of stuff and a ton of distraction and a bunch of people that really don't know what they're talking about when it comes to growing and scaling your business. We're bringing in tactical, strategic leaders that have done this with their company and with other companies to the tune of multi-million-dollar businesses. And I will be sharing and presenting my vision for the industry and some new innovative solutions for the property management industry. So I'm so excited It's difficult to keep it all a secret, but I'm excited to share these things with you. So make sure you go to doorgrowlive.com and get your tickets. So we will see you inside the DoorGrow Club. Bye, everybody.